And go.
What's up, fight fans? Welcome to another edition of Split Decision MMA, your weekly MMA podcast from the 209 Modesto, California, covering the wide world of mixed martial arts. We're covering rumors, we're covering news, we're covering all the stories that happened this week, last week, going over fights, predicting fights, everything coming to you live from the SynCal studios here inside SynCal Industries for all your tattoo, piercing, smoking accessory, and vinyl sticker needs. We are brought to you by HealthLabs.com, SplitDecision. HealthLabs.com, fast, private, and affordable blood work for MMA fighters for as low as $79. All you got to do is order your test, go to one of the 4,500 local accredited labs, and get your results in 24 to 72 hours. It is that easy. There's no appointments needed.
It's that easy.
No insurance. There's no copay. There's no hidden fees. It is fast, affordable blood work from HealthLabs.com. HealthLabs.com. If you are a fighter fighting at a local fight coming up and you still need your blood work, hit us up. We'll hook you up with some discounts and maybe take care of this for you. Let's get into the news.
No. It's official. You don't get to rock out in the studio no more. Everything's messed up.
No?
Okay, you can, but
What did I do?
I don't know.
Is it me?
My headphones were kind of loud. And I think it was from the fight we covered over the weekend, but still.
Yeah, get over it.
I will. You want to go with me to Home Depot? We could get some lumber and build a bridge to get
Let's
over
get
it.
into the news. Let's talk about Tito Ortiz and Alberto El Patron, also known as Alberto Del Rio from the WWE. These guys fought.
Bro, he's instead of Jenny from the block, he's Roberto from the WWE.
Yeah. Remember, these guys fought at Combates Americanos, Tito versus Alberto in the main event. This was back in December.
In December.
This was a big deal. I mean, sort of. Some people thought it was a big deal. Both these guys fought for belts that they no longer have, but they currently are in possession of.
Yeah.
However,
We're in possession of 3 belts. Who wants to fight us?
Belts. Yeah, what? I got these. I got these.
Rich Trace, what's up? Only when you have a back problem, though.
So now the Texas State Athletic Commission is saying that we are turning this over into a no contest.
Why?
No reasoning.
Come on.
Just because there is a current investigation. That's all they've said.
Blake, Josh, what do you guys think?
Pending further investigation.
Steroids. You
Tito
think? Maybe.
Versus Alberto has been turned over to a no contest. Yes, there is
I don't know anything.
Rumors that somebody popped for something.
Somebody popped? Or maybe just someone had a pop.
There were rumors that they found out it might have been a fix.
Fix?
Are all kinds of little weird things.
How can
going
you
on.
fix a fight that's really not for anything?
Hey, it was for a belt, sir.
No,
I'll fight you for your belt right now.
Yeah? You're going to hold my pants up while I go home?
Yeah.
Okay.
As long as I get the belt.
As long as I
want all the belts.
I want all the belts.
So as we get further information on that situation, we will make sure we
Nobody
let you know.
cares. Nobody cares.
These guys might care.
No, they don't. It's
Anybody
just
listen to the show? Do you
just
care?
Like the first 4 that came out that said, oh, so-and-so's belt's overturned. They used the Newman, See, nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares.
USADA has announced today that Isabela de Padua of Sao Paulo, Brazil, has accepted
a little
a
Depadua.
2-year sanction for violation of the UFC's anti-doping policy, where she has tested positive for her prohibited substance. She tested positive for 19NA, which is 19-nodorandastone, which is a urinary metabolite.
Norsteroid.
Which is a North steroid, which is no longer allowed in competition, obviously.
It's a precursor.
Precursor to steroids. It's not a real steroid. It's the one before the steroid. However, she has a 2-year...
It's the one that walks into your muscle and goes, hey, everybody, the steroid is right behind me.
Not allowed to have those.
Okay.
Not allowed to have those.
Not allowed to have
2 years. She'll be out.
All right.
Moving on from there, speaking of some Brazilians, it is official.
It is official.
That Henry Cejudo will be fighting Jose Aldo at UFC 250, May 19th, Sao Paulo, Brazil, for the featherweight title.
Sweet.
Or, excuse me, for the bantamweight title.
Bantamweight
title.
Yeah.
We talked about this now. I think the past 2 weeks we brought it up. This is something that they're trying to be doing. Obviously, you had Aljamain Sterling, who is, in my opinion, a better choice to be fighting for the title. Wondering why this is happening. I'll tell you why, Aljamain Sterling. Number one, I sent you a list of all the guys you can blame for doing the rankings. You should check that out. Make sure you at all of them.
Look into that.
Also, number two, this is in Brazil, and they need a headliner. And for some reason, Henry Cejudo has been calling for this fight now for some time. He wants to put a stamp in that book of, look, this guy was a legend. He was the featherweight GOAT at one time. I want to take him out. Even though he's already been taken out lately. I don't know if...
Yeah, but what do you do if Aldo wins?
realize that. He did have that razor-thin split decision loss at UFC 245 last December, which many people actually thought Aldo won. I thought Aldo won. We talked about it on the show. I believe you thought Aldo won. A lot of people thought. But that still doesn't take into account that he did actually lose that fight. So I don't know. However, remember, now this is going to be Jose Aldo coming in on a 2-fight losing streak and has lost 5 of his last 8. Just throwing that out there.
Okay.
Jose Aldo to fight Henry Cejudo. Are you excited for that bout? Let me know. Put it up in the comments, either down in YouTube or over here on this side at Facebook. We'll get that going for you. StyleBender, Israel de Asanya, was doing a press conference hyping up his fight on March 7th at UFC 248 against Yoel Romero. He had made a couple comments that a couple people did not like. He made a controversial remark saying that Romero was going to crumble like the Twin Towers.
And not a good thing to say.
Not a good thing to say.
It's not. It's just not smart.
Not a good thing to say.
No.
He later has apologized, and he said, I just want to make it clear I never made a joke about people dying or made light of tragic events that was 9/11. I was simply rambling, and my brain worked faster than my mouth. I was looking for a euphemism, and I chose the wrong one. You speak on the mic enough times, and you're bound to miss the mark on some bars. I did this, and I am very sorry. I will be more careful with my words in the future. I mean, he's known for being pretty quick-witted, right? He's known for snapping back and clapping back at guys. Do you think this is just one of those kind of verbal brain farts? Like he was looking for something that was went down quick.
I've gone back and looked about the quick-wittedness. I wouldn't say he's quick-witted. No.
He's had some pretty good marks.
He's mouthy.
He's mouthy. I know. I've got him.
You think you've heard some good ones?
A little bit, yeah. I'll come back next week and I'll bring in the good ones.
Well, that's why there are some good ones, but not. I wouldn't say they're consistently good. Like as much as it pains me, some of Connor's are more
quick.
Yeah, he's quick. It's more consistent. Even though I think some of them on both of their behalves
are pre,
and then they just find a way to plug and play them.
Yeah.
And I'm not against that. I tell people all the time, they say something, I go, hey, I'm diming that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Taking that one.
Oh, yeah.
Put that one in the back pocket.
Yeah.
Do you accept his apology? Do you think he wasn't really trying to make fun of the people and the tragedy of 9/11? I think he was really just, again, like you said, trying to come up with something quick.
Yeah, but I mean, you just, I don't know.
Quicker. He would go down quicker than a...
I don't hooker in Compton. I don't know. A cracker in Compton. I don't know. Whatever you want. I don't know.
Israel Adesanya, feeling very sorry.
Okay.
So he's putting it out there.
That's the thing. I wouldn't say anything. Because there's after
you shouldn't have apologized?
No, because how does he apologize? He said it. That. But he said it.
Yeah. He's saying I did say it. I was not referring to the tragedy.
Right, but he even said, well, I'm not saying about a bunch of people that died. But I'm sorry, when the tower crumbled, a lot of people died in it.
Right, but I think he was just trying to make sure that it was clear what his intentions were.
Yeah, to mention that the Twin Towers had crumbled.
Fast. That was the euphemism.
And they didn't even crumble fast. One fell first, and then the second one.
Bringing that up to me. They're like, bro, it took like 35 to 45 minutes before that one went down.
Before one went down, and the second one didn't go for like an hour.
So that means this is going to be a long, drawn-out fight, man.
Yeah.
That's horrible. We're horrible people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
We're also not making light of the 9/11
Yeah,
tragedy.
and I'm sorry to take a joke and go literal with it, but...
Moving on from there, Kat Zingano, one-time UFC bantamweight title contender, has recently signed her deal with Bellator MMA. She has not been in the cage. They're in a round, right? Bellator's in a round.
Yeah.
They're in a weird thing. Anyway, she has not been in combat because she had to have surgery to have her breast implants removed. She recently put up a picture of herself showing off the scars from the incident. She said that she went to Dr. Lun Jinfeng and saw that she had been suffering from implant toxicity. And that some people who've had implants for decades, some have only had them for months. However, this is something that happens. She goes, although I did love my curves, I do not regret the decision to fix my breasts. And after I've had my son, if I knew what I knew now, I may have made different choices.
No, it's all about the butt anyway.
She said breast implant illness, BII, is a term that covers a wide variety of illnesses that stem from cosmetic surgery with breast implants. The range of problems include joint and muscle pain, chronic fatigue, breathing problems, rashes, skin problems, anxiety, depression. They said associated with autoimmune and connective tissue disorders such as lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, scleroderma, and some people have also said they have been diagnosed with specific autoimmune or connective tissue disorders, but not everybody.
Hey, Roger Fiddle says hi, Dodge.
How's it going?
What's happening?
So yeah, she said now that this has happened and she's back on the mend, that she said that she has had no more issues. She's been rehabbing her lungs, her ribs, her system, her muscles, and all these related issues. She said her training has improved tenfold. She feels much better improvement, mobility, all these types of things. So good for her coming out of, and like I said, warning other people, just saying, hey, if you feel like any of these things are happening to you, go get checked out.
Yeah, because that stuff's leaking into your system, and then your body's trying to fight it everywhere it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Kat Zingano, hopefully you get on the mend and we get to see you in Bellator very, very soon. I don't know if you know this, but we talked about this a couple weeks back.
If you're bringing up the whole fact that I needed to update the system yet one more time.
If you have noticed that we have not been on Facebook Live, you can blame this guy for not listening to the former tech guy that he didn't want to update anything.
I didn't unplug it and plug it back in.
I told you. You always turn it off and turn it back on.
I'm just not a tech savvy person.
We talked about this. This was at a charity event. This was Substars in Florida, where they were having, originally Dustin Poirier was supposed to be in a grappling match against Gary Tonin. However, Gary Tonin was forced to withdraw. So then we had a little bit more MMA action sort of happen. We have Curtis Blaydes and Anthony Rumble Johnson there participating in some sumo, traditional style, with the full diaper situation.
I don't think it's called a diaper.
I don't think it's called a diaper either. I just don't remember what it actually is called. Let's see. What it's called, a mawashi.
Mawashi.
Traditional mawashi.
Because after you're done, you really need to mawashi.
You definitely need to mawashi that thing. We got to see Rumble versus Blaydes in this. Blaydes won 2-1. Both guys seem to have a lot of fun. You can find this on YouTube. Go to look up Substars.
I didn't see him wrestle Blaydes. I saw him.
So they had to go against. There was a mini tournament where they had to go against other sumo guys, and then they did end up facing each other. Rumble,
I think I saw that one. Him against Yama.
Yeah, Rumble went like 1-6.
Yeah,
he was not doing well.
And what's crazy is he's as heavy as he's ever been.
Yeah. There's a lot of posturing and making sure that their junk didn't fall out of the Niwashi. It was entertaining, so you can check that out on YouTube.
Does the tape guy tape that up?
I don't know.
Do you get a taper guy?
I am not going to be the tape guy. Not again.
You might want to bring 2 rolls. Just saying. Not again. Fool me once. Fool me once.
Fool me twice.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it again.
Not going to do it.
Bellator 239 happened over the weekend as well. This was from Thackerville, Oklahoma. This was at Paramount, on Paramount Network and on DAZN. We had your main event. Yaroslav Ramonasov defeated Ed Ruth in unanimous decision. Miles Jury gets the win over Brandon Gertz. It's very nice. That was very
Keep
cool.
working on it, Miles.
Keep working, Miles.
Keep coming back,
this
baby.
Also, we had Bellator 240, which is Bellator Dublin. This next day, this was on tape delay. And we had Lee McCourt get the win over Judith Ruiz, Charlie Ward over Kyle Kurtz, Austin Clem over Aaron Chalmers. Again, that's all on Bellator.
Beck Rollins over Elna.
Oh yeah,
Beck Rollins did get the win. I'm gonna tell you, she looked the cleanest she's looked in fighting, and she looked like in the best shape. So whatever she did, did she go do bare knuckle?
Yeah, she was the bare. She won bare knuckle.
Did she?
She was a champ there for a little while.
Okay. And maybe that helped her.
She recently signed with Bellator, and everyone thought, why? We want to see you still fighting bare knuckle.
Yeah.
She moved on. Then we also had UFC Fight Night 168, UFC on Fight Night, or excuse me, on ESPN Plus 26. UFC Fight Night, Felder versus Hooker, also known as UFC
Auckland,
New Zealand, which I don't know why we both just did Scottish accents.
Grade 8. Grade 8.
On your main card, you got Brad Riddle over Magomedov Mustarev, Marcos Rogero de Lima over Ben Sosalai, Jan Exuhan over Carolina Kowalkiewicz. Kowalkiewicz said she is not okay with this loss, even though she lost handily in a big decision.
Yeah, but it broke her face.
It broke her face and her spirit. She said she is really down and out about this. Jimmy Crute gets the win over Mikhail Olenekhirikuk. And Dan Hooker gets a split decision, razor close fight against Paul Felder.
Now, where's everybody at on that? If you're watching this, go ahead and chime in. Tell me where you at. Tell me who you had. Did you have a draw?
Says
I had a possible majority draw.
He is possibly considering retirement because of this fight.
Yeah, so this card broke 2 fighter spirits.
Yeah, it was a great fight. You talked to Paul Felder's coach, Duke Rufus, and he was talking about judging in MMA. And again, this is something that we need to be a little more stringent on, and we need to talk to about. He says, if you think about it, he says, I think here's some things that we could do to make sure that the judges get it right. Not that it was a robbery, not that it was a very close fight. He's not saying anything about it was a bad judging call. It was a very close call. He's just saying, in general, let's talk about MMA judging. It could have swung the other way. He said there needs to be a better stance. I think that there should be 5 judges, not 3. I think that there should be up to date updating on their classes. Basically, they have to be certified every year to be able to do judging. And then he says 3 judges, they need to stop being fans of the sport and be students of the sport and constantly learning and constantly being able to keep going. And the last thing is, he says the difference is that when judges make mistakes, they go home with the same paycheck. When fighters make mistakes, or when based on the judge's decision, when they go home, they could lose. He said Paul Felder lost $82,000.
You know how
that's considerable income.
You know how you keep the judges from fucking up your fight?
Win decisively.
Sub or finish.
Yeah, true.
Sub or
but
finish.
I do agree with some of it. I mean, you think about it. The judges get to go home no matter what, right? They're going to get their paycheck. These guys, they win or lose could depending on how big their paycheck is.
But
is that an issue about fighter pay, or is that an issue about judging? Or
no, it's an issue about you as a fighter letting the judges choose what happens.
But you also got to talk about some of the horrible judging calls that we've
had
recently.
No. But I will tell you, I've gone back and looked at some of cards that Joe Solis has been part of prior, and his bad judging is not new.
No, not at all.
You know what I mean?
Not at all.
So like I was talking to a judge that was up at the Napa event. Yep. I go, how worried of you? He goes, no. He goes, and he was the one that pointed out. He goes, because if you go back and look at Joe Solis' record, at least he's been consistently bad, right?
It's not new.
Yeah. So his style and on that aspect, I get it. At least he stays consistent of what he judges or how he judges.
I think there was, I believe it was the IBKF, which is the kickboxing organization. I think it was the president of that who had recently said that he feels that, like other sports, they should have the best judges in the country judging main events and big fights, not the best local guy.
But so who's the judge that judges the judges?
That's what I mean. There should be some sort of organization, right? You have an
so
organization.
At what point do we stop judging the people that's judging the people that's judging the people?
You have organizations like the NFL has their referees that have to go through so many training, and they're only given big games after so many, right? Same thing with the NBA. Same thing with baseball. Maybe we need that with MMA. Right now, MMA, it's completely left up to the local level in the local jurisdiction. So any judge in California can go judge a main event fight for the UFC. It's who's available that week, right? And instead, he's saying that maybe there are guys that are better qualified who have done more championship fights.
Like being a Supreme Court juror. You're not a Superior Court juror as compared to just a juror in your county area.
Yeah, so they're saying that they would bring somebody that was maybe have a little more experience. I kind of like the idea.
But it just worries me. I mean, because like what if somebody like the New York Athletic State Commission is the one that handles the judges?
True.
Or even our own athletic commission, who's pretty stringent on certain things, like this don't happen, that don't happen.
Right.
You know? Or do we do somewhere like Texas where they're like,
I think Nevada's pretty good.
How Nevada? Nevada and Texas, same thing. It's like somebody waves money. It's like, oh, you know what I mean? Right. And I'm not saying. Go that far. And again, and on the money thing and Joe Solis, that's my opinion. Yeah. That is, there's no factual evidence. We're not a credible source. Everything we've just said is in our opinion.
Or we're reading it.
Yeah,
of somebody else's opinion.
Yeah,
but
I just don't want people to think like, where do you read that? How do you get that? It's like that's just what I gathered from forums.
Let's go.
I couldn't even look at forums this week.
We got three main cards to talk about this week. Obviously, we have a couple small ones. Let's start off with Titan Fighting Championships. Titan FC 59 is going down tomorrow, or is that today? Today's the 28th, right? Going down today. That's right. We had the weird 29 going down.
Yeah.
28 today. Kamal Magmedov is not going to make it to the main event due to some visa issues. However, Yuri Villafort, who is 12-7, former UFC fighter, is stepping in to fight Michael Graves. This is for the interim welterweight championship. So make sure you check that out. That is on Fight Pass. You can check that out free on Fight Pass as long as you're a subscriber. Very, very cool stuff. Moving on from there, we have Combate Americanas. This is in our own backyard. This is in Fresno, California. This is Mexico versus USA is how they are promoting this one. You got Alejandro Martinez going up against Adrian Guzman. In the co-main event, you got Stephanie Frausto going up against Clarissa Segala. Make sure you check that out. Again, this is going down in Fresno. If you probably haven't already started the drive, you might need to now.
Oh, yeah, no doubt. Especially if you've got to come through here.
Or make sure you check it out. I believe this is going to be on Univision, as it usually is. Going on from there, we have the big UFC card. We have UFC Benavidez versus Figueiredo. UFC Fight Night 169. UFC on ESPN Plus 27. UFC Norfolk.
Now, Virginia. I haven't read a lot today, but it seems that only one guy can leave with the belt or something?
Something along those lines, right? I mean, it makes sense.
Figueiredo didn't make weight.
Figueiredo did not make weight. He was 2.5 pounds over the flyweight limit of 125. As a result of that, if he were to win, he is ineligible for the championship. However,
2 jobs. Show up, make weight.
Joseph Benavidez is still eligible. He was also, Figueiredo was fined 30% of his purse, which would go to Joe, and it's going to be at catch weight of 127. We also have another catch weight that's a little further down. But let's get on to the prelim card. This is, again, everything's on ESPN Plus. When you subscribe to get those pay-per-views recently and you got locked in for that year, you can watch this. You should. It's going down tomorrow. It only happens once every 4 years.
Yeah. Well, the date.
Oh, all right.
Way
to kill my vibe.
The 29th. Yeah.
Ismail Nurmagomedov going up against Sean Brady. I'm not excited anymore. Ariel Cruz going up against Spike Carlisle. Jordan Griffin going up against TJ Brown. Luis Pena going up against Steve Garcia. Marcin Tibera going up against Sergey Spitkarov. Brendan Allen going up against Tom Breeze. Gabriel Silva against Kyler Phillips. That is your prelim. Still rolling in on ESPN Plus. You don't have to change anything. Just keep streaming. Grant Dawson going up against Derek Manor. Now, Grant Dawson failed to make weight, came in at 149.5, 3.5 pounds over the featherweight. It's going to be a non-title limit of 146. He is fined 30%. Still happening at a catch weight. We also have Megan Anderson going against Norma Dumont Viana.
Norma's a good-sized girl, so this ought to be pretty good.
Ion Kudabella going up against Magmedov Akinelov. Yep. Felicia Spencer going up against Zira Ferem dos Santos. And, of course, that main event that we were talking about for the UFC flyweight title currently, while Cejudo is not going to be fighting for it because, right? What's going on? Cejudo's the flyweight title, but he's fighting at UFC 250, so they're stripping him, and we're just giving him an interim belt?
Right.
Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
And so did he choose to fight for one and not the other?
I don't know. They chose for him.
Joseph Benavidez does have an opportunity to become the flyweight champion against Dievison Figueiredo. I'm going Joe on this.
Yeah?
I like Joe.
All right.
I'm glad that he's out of his beanie and peacoat phase.
Yeah. I'm going Benavidez. There's no split decision on this.
Has pulled him out of that, and I applaud her. That is it. That is your week of fights. I know it's a quick show today. Not a whole lot of news going on. Hopefully we get some bigger stories as this comes along.
I feel like they got like a chokehold on the UFC that are just not letting stories out
just
anymore.
Not letting anything out.
They got a good PR group now or something. But I don't know if you've seen this. I don't know if you watch our show, but Umar Nurmagomedov, it got signed. I think we told you about it 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
maybe 3.
That was news.
It was news. Oh yeah, it's all over today. Like it just happened.
It just happened.
The
Russian Robbie Lawler.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounded familiar.
Russian Robbie Lawler. As always, we are brought to you by HealthLabs.com. Health Labs, fast, affordable blood work for your MMA fighters as low as $79. Make sure you go to HealthLabs.com. DependableSolutions.net. If you are taking credit cards for your business, make sure you check out Dependable Solutions. They will have the ability to possibly save you up to 75%. And as always, Walkie Craft, My MMA News, and SinCal Industries. That is it. You guys have a good night. We'll see you next week. See you next.
Yeah, maybe we'll be live. We'll see what happens. No problem. Yeah, I might have to update it.